Thank you for coming to watch Dr. Smith's video today. We encourage you to hit the subscribe button and the alert button. That way you can get notifications when he uploads a new video. Thank you for coming today.
So we hope you take the time to hear and think about, and if you have a book, read in the book about the concept and the topics that we talk about. They have a lasting effect. The intent is not necessarily to treat pain, but to make permanent, long-term correction with your whole family and your friends.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the alert button. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Okay, so today the primary discussion is on chronic inflammation, where it is and how to repair it. Chronic inflammation. Now, the word chronic obviously means you've had it for a long time. It's extremely common. I would say that almost everyone has one or more areas in the body of chronic inflammation. Now, what is it? Chronic inflammation is a process that's ongoing. If we talk about the word inflammation and ask, is it good or bad? Inflammation. Is inflammation good or bad? My response is both. You know the answer.
Remember a few things.
Yeah, that's, why is it both? Well, first of all, inflammation is a process that was designed by God and given to all of us. It happens automatically in the body. You can call it, if you would, a first responder. So if you stub your toe, you cut your finger, you get in a car crash, you eat bad food, poisoned food of some kind, you inhale
Saliva.
anything that gets in the saliva that's bad for you, the body's going to respond to try to fix it, to try to correct it. So it's an automatic first response. That's inflammation. Now, before we go on, I want to talk about another word that people confuse. It's called infection. Infection is similar in symptoms, but different in cause. Infection is caused from an invader from the outside, a virus, fungus, yeast, some kind of parasite that comes into you from the outside and creates some kind of wants to kill you, actually. And the body will respond in a similar fashion. It will send in, so you can have an infection that damages tissue. Then you can have inflammation simultaneously, which is trying to do what?
Yeah.
Repair it, heal it, repair it. So inflammation, one of the first things it does, just like you would do if you come upon an accident, you would take away the cause as much as you can. So if you fall in the rocks as a little kid, you skin your knee, you get dirt in the knee, the inflammation immediately starts to clean it up. So you have different specialized cells that come in to do the work. I've mentioned before in the body from the immune system, the lymphatic system, you have the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. I give you the acronym. Never let monkeys eat bananas. Those are different kinds of, the first letter, different kinds of white blood cells, neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, or macrophages, eosinophils, basophils. They're all specialized tissue, part of the lymphatic system designed to clean up. That's part of what happens with inflammation. And when they're cleaning it up, they're trying to take care of the damage that's been done, whether it be a wound or an infection. The same thing. They're trying to clean it up and repair it. It's the first stage of healing. So if I ask a test question, what is one of the very first stages of healing, and they give you inflammation as one of the choices, that would be a correct answer. It's essential. Without it, without inflammation occurring, and when would that happen? That would happen if your immune system as a whole is weakened. What weakens the immune system?
Stress.
Stress? What kind of stress?
Physical, mental, emotional, chemical, structural.
Too much food? Not enough sleep? Too much mental stuff? All lowers the immune system strength. One of the ways you can tell if you have chronic low-grade inflammation is blood pressure. If you have tissue in your body that needs more blood to repair, what would the heart do?
Speed up.
What?
Speed up.
Speed up? See, the heart rate would go up. What about blood pressure? Would go up?
Yeah, it goes up.
What about rate of breathing? Would you expect to have maybe more breath? Increase speed of breathing? So when we do the Ragland's test and we have a high blood pressure, we look at the first number, first systolic. If it's over 150, that's high blood pressure. The next question is, why do you have it? Why? Well, maybe we'll never know what really is going on, because you may have multiple low-level, I'll call it pockets of or locations of chronic inflammation. For example, could be a tooth, could be an ulcer, stomach, could be, I checked the fellow the other day, I touched his abdominal area down here, had a lot of pain. You need a new pen?
I've got a spare, thank you.
A lot of pain here. Pain is one of the signs of inflammation. I push it over here, pain, both on the large intestine. I push on the small intestine, no pain. Liver, no pain. So he had pain on pressure. That's an indication there's probably some inflammation going on. So is inflammation good or bad? Good early on. Why does it change from good early on to bad.
Because it doesn't get taken care of.
Exactly. That's a perfect answer. You have an acute, some kind of an acute, and that doesn't mean a pretty girl. Acute means a neuro problem that's significant. A neuro problem that's significant is an acute something that never gets fixed completely. Is that common?
Yeah.
Yes. So if I ask you to do a quick assessment of an area of your body that you could possibly have an unhealed problem that was acute, became chronic, and has stayed with you for a long time, could you come up with one or two areas?
My back.
Back. Now your back's big. Is it top, bottom, middle?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And if you have a problem right in the middle of the back, what other kind of problem would you expect her to have?
Organs.
Organ. Which organ? One up here, one down here, one in the middle.
Kidney, liver.
One in the middle. Stomach. Maybe liver. Maybe large intestine. Maybe small intestine. Pancreas. Something that's in the middle. So now you have multiple areas. Back, plus organ, one or two, maybe more. So we have multiple tissue that has chronic low-grade inflammation. Again, very common. It could be your ankle, it could be your knee. Do you still have swelling in your ankle? So swelling, is it?
It swells.
It comes and goes.
Okay.
Can I talk about it?
Sure.
So when the swelling is there, we have what's called a chronic acute reaction. I'm sorry, we have an acute reaction to a chronic problem. So sometimes it's good, no swelling, right? Swelling is another of the four main indicators of inflammation. One, I told you, was pain. 2 is swelling. 3 is redness, discolor. 4 is heat. Where does the heat come from?
The increased blood flow.
More blood, yes. You have more blood in there. Where does
The
the,
healing's gone down and it's starting to heal now.
it's starting to heal better. So she has, may I say we had?
Mm-hmm.
She fractured
The bone.
the bone.
Huh?
And the bone has gone through the inflammation. It's the body's provided stem cells to make new bones. The body provided the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines to clean out
Come and take care of it.
the area. But the area is weak. When the area, because the area is weak, she occasionally flares it out by walking too far, be kicking their dad and getting them to do things.
That's
Or the
No.
dog, where did he kick?
no. It's starting to heal. It's been a couple of months now.
Yes, and it will take, how long?
About six or 9 months.
If it heals properly, yes. What if it never heals properly? You could have it for years and years and years. I've treated people who have complained of a problem like that. They've had it years and years and years, and we line it up and they do some therapy and it now heals back in place. Okay, so
the herbal supplement that you give me when I hurt my foot too, acute,
that
that helps with the inflammation because
it helps The product that I use is called Acute. Was designed by Optimal Health for professional basketball and football players because they want to get fixed quick and back on the court. And so when you have a brand new injury, or if you have an old chronic injury, you keep flaring out. Okay? And if I were to write a report a medical report, I would say you had an acute flare-up of a chronic condition. And many times, even in a small trip and fall, too much time in the garden can cause an acute flare-up of a chronic low-grade problem. The lady who just left, that's what she had. She had last week she's been on a mission, she's been gone for a long time, but she came and we lined her up, she had no pain. And quote, like a fool. She went home and looked at her garden and we looked at the weeds. And somewhere in her mind she said, those weeds are more important than I am. I'm going to get rid of them. So she called today and said, please.
No, that's not exactly how it goes. You have this mental problem about those weeds in the garden too.
Yeah.
It's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing too.
I think that's
true.
probably the true answer.
Yeah, because I thought about that and I went, no, those weeds were really bugging me, so I got out the tiller and got them. So,
The good thing about weeds is they keep,
coming back.
well, they keep till tomorrow.
Yeah, but they get bigger.
Well, the taller they are, the easier they are to reach.
Oh. Yeah, but the tiller doesn't work as well then. I just want to run the tiller through it.
Okay. Which organs help fight bad things in the body?
Liver.
The liver,
Liver.
big time.
Kidneys.
Kidneys.
Kidneys. What about the small intestine? What does it actually make it a difference? The small intestine.
It should. That's when everything's digested and goes back into the bloodstream.
Yes. And where is the main part of the immune system?
In the gut.
The liver.
In the
gut.
gut. Yeah.
The small intestine. The small intestine. Now, so if we ask the question, which diseases to prevent chronic inflammation or correct it? But prevent. What are some of the things you can do to prevent chronic inflammation in your body?
Drink water.
Water. What kind of food could be labeled anti-inflammatory food? Anti-inflammatory food.
Green vegetables.
Green
Deep green vegetables.
green vegetables.
Broccoli, spinach. carrot.
Okay, what about the other side of the teeter-totter? What are foods that are triggers?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Sugar. Top of the list. Number one. Now, when we use the word sugar, is all sugar bad? What makes good sugar bad sugar?
Processing.
Bingo.
Chemicals.
Processing. So when God made for us a wide variety of foods, some foods like pears have a lot of sugar. And it's very quick to get it into your body. Other foods like celery has a little bit of sugar, hard to get. Which should you eat? Easy or hard?
Hard.
Low metabolism. We'll call it, instead of giving it the bad name, sugar, we'll call it carbohydrate. What's the difference between carbohydrate and sugar? You give the answer. Sugar has been processed. So you take the sugar beet out of the field, you take sugar cane out of the field, and you chew it up. It's kind of sweet. But then what do?
Yeah, just the sweet part.
They cook it, process it, and filter it out, and now you end up with, you've had a good product designed by God that's now poisoned. And if you eat an abundance of sugar, meaning when I use the word sugar, to me I'm talking about the white stuff.
It's
You know,
been
fun.
added to everything.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do the evil and conspiring men add it to everything?
It's addiction.
It's a
That's right,
preservative.
it is.
They
Kind
make
of
you
a-
addicted because they want to lower the quality and quantity and life expectancy of your body. You can cause arthritis. You can cause diabetes. You can just eat too much sugar and you can cause it.
I have a question. The carbohydrates, though, aren't all, sometimes they're processed too, aren't they? I mean, like flour is processed,
The answer is yes.
white flour is
Yes.
processed.
Is white flour bad for you?
No, yeah, I don't know.
I didn't
Something
understand your
like that.
answer.
I don't understand. Something I read the other day said, whole wheat bread, everybody thinks that's gonna be healthy, but they've added sugar to it, so it isn't any healthier than white bread.
Do you make whole wheat bread?
I don't make bread very often, but I've been eating rye bread. I like it, but that's probably processed stuff. I don't know.
Who makes bread?
I can grind wheat and make bread, but I
You
just
know how to do it. You've done it. Do you put sugar in your bread?
yes.
I use honey or agave. I don't use very much.
See, you want it a little tiny bit sweeter. That's fine. The problem with bread, when I was a kid, when they first started, there was a lot of conflict between Wonder Bread. That both bodies, how many ways? 12, you all
12
know.
ways.
12 ways. And then I started learning about nutrition, and they said the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. And now, even the church, they have 2 cups, you know, the fastest. You have a regular bread, and you have the special kind for the people who are, quote, gluten intolerant, which brings up a whole discussion. I give them my opinion in short, semi-short. Answer. It's not the gluten that's the problem. It's the user of the gluten. So instead of having 2 or 3 slices of whole wheat bread a week, they eat 2 loaves of whole wheat bread a week, or whatever kind of bread they eat.
I didn't do that.
The problem, what?
I didn't do that.
The-
That's probably what the sugar to me. And the wheat.
If you are gluten intolerant, you've had too much wheat. Period.
So if you haven't eaten wheat for or much wheat for a long time, could you go back to eating it, do you think?
Yes, I know you can.
Okay.
So when you say intolerant, is that the same as celiac disease or whatever?
No. It can be, but no. Celiac disease is where you have a chronic low-grade inflammation of the intestinal tract so that you do not assimilate nutrients because it's coated with mucus. Mucus is in the intestinal tract to protect the tissue, okay, from damage.
So,
Celiac disease is very common, and medically they don't have a pill to fix it. They can't cut it out. So it goes all right back to you in the kitchen and what you eat. You nurture the tissue like the liver, the stomach, the large intestine. You nurture the tissue that processes the food, and then you lower the quantity. Quantity is the key. So,
Food, not just flour.
pardon?
Of food, not just wheat.
All food. Quantity is the issue. But we're talking about gluten intolerance. That comes from too much too often. In my opinion, gluten intolerance it's an allergy. It's simple to me. It's simple. It's an allergy, and if you go off from what's causing you to have allergic reactions for a significant period of time and strengthen the tissue, and then you go back onto it and appropriate levels and frequencies, you'll be fine. Now it goes for other kinds of allergies too. It can be allergies to milk, bee stings, mosquito bites, whatever. Too much too often, that's the problem.
Well, and I can testify to that because for corn on the cob, and suddenly it was just not happy, this body wasn't, and I quit eating it. And if I eat one ear, I'm okay, but it can only be, maybe once a week or something. But any more than that, I have the same problem, so.
The foods that cause the highest level of allergic reaction, that are most conducive to triggering chronic low-grade inflammation, include sugar, wheat, milk, and milk products, soybeans. Those are probably the top 4.
So instead of having milk, you suggest almond milk or something like that?
Instead of what?
Like regular milk?
Why would you want to drink regular milk?
She's saying if you don't want to drink regular milk, what other kind of milk could you drink?
Well, my question is, why would you want to drink milk?
Because she
Good on
likes it.
cornflakes.
It's good on cornflakes, yeah. It's good on
That
cereal.
brings up another question. Why would you want to eat cornflakes?
We're running out of shredded wheat.
Because you want to eat it on your oatmeal that has the vinegar on it and has been,
There you go.
pre-digested.
That's
and
the right
That's the
answer.
reason why you want to drink the milk.
If you want to drink milk, if you want to put something on your cereal, my first choice is whipping cream.
Yes.
Or nothing. Water. You don't see, humans are, as far as I know, the only adult life on this earth that drinks milk after they're weaned. Were you not weaned?
Apparently not.
I guess not, I don't know.
I'm sure my mom just kept giving it to me.
Now, some of you, like me, have an advantage. We were raised on a dairy farm, had access to it, and have had reasonable amounts of milk our whole life. So we have adapted to and have the ability to digest efficiently small quantities of milk. The people who have gone straight from, in fact, a lot of them don't even get mother's milk. I mean, they start out with bad substitutes. And then they drink milk and have all kinds of chronic low-grade inflammation in the body that they never know about because they're allergic to the milk. They get addicted to it. But they can't process it properly. So it lays in the gut and rots. You know, if you drink milk, drink small quantities. That's all I'm going to say. And if you drink milk, buy the richest, most raw milk you can get.
Like whole milk?
Whole raw milk and drink small amounts. And if you can get clean whole raw milk from a Jersey, take advantage of the cream. Somebody have a question?
I was gonna ask that question about raw milk.
One of the best times of our life, when we were going to chiropractic college, we could buy Jersey milk from a local farmer, and we would always make ice cream with just cream and raspberries, cream and strawberries. That's it.
Oh, wow.
So, doctor, are you saying no almond milk, no coconut milk?
You can buy that if you want.
Oh,
It's
there's not much in it for you.
Pardon?
There's not much in it for you.
No, there's more in it for the marketers than you.
Okay. Better to use water.
The marketers make more than you do.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an almond being milked?
So couldn't grind it.
Do you remember tiger's milk?
Yes. How do you milk a tiger?
Well, somebody asked me,
Very
why is it so expensive? And I said, have you ever tried to milk a tiger?
That's the right answer.
My kids always remind me, now that they're growing, how awful tiger's milk was that I was making in my cake. It's delicious.
So one of the common comments I get from when they said don't drink milk is so the dairy farmers have marketed you need to have milk for the calcium. So my question is, where does the cow get their calcium?
The greens.
The greens. The greens. So we eat the greens. Okay, let's go through this. True, false. A major cause of chronic inflammation is due to failure of successfully treating acute inflammation. Choose. Symptoms of chronic inflammation may include, just go through there and circle the ones that you think apply. Symptoms.
I'd say all of them.
You're right.
Gotcha.
All of them. Number 3, the 4 cardinal signs of inflammation include
All of them.
all true. 4, the specialized cells that are present in chronically inflamed areas include macrophage, lymphocytes, plasma cells. That's only part of them.
Yeah, you said 5.
Where do they come from?
A cow.
Where do all of these cells originate?
T cells in the bone.
T cells?
No,
Blood cells.
no. Stem cells.
Stem cells.
Yeah.
They all started out as stem cells. And where are stem cells made?
In the bones.
In the bone. Choose. Common, chronic, diagnosed diseases include all of them. So what about heart failure? Is heart failure caused from sugar?
Could be.
Could be.
Could contribute, but not cause. 6. True or false? Live blood cell analysis is a quick, convenient way to identify and monitor causes and corrections for chronic inflammation.
True.
True. Now I called Deborah today when I was putting this test together and asked her, what are some of the most common things you see in the live blood here in Idaho Falls that are related to chronic inflammation? She said, well, rouleau is big rouleau. That's where these cells pile up and stick together. They look like coins piled up on top of each other, which comes from incomplete digestion, which is due to volume, too much quantity. What else? We have, and they come and go, we have unique bacteria. And they change during the seasons. When she checks the live blood, they kind of change with the seasons on which bacteria are most predominant. And so some of the supplements like the acute, I asked her which ones would be, in her opinion, with what she sees, which ones does she, because we don't always talk about what you get. She does her thing and I do mine. He says that I like to use acute a lot because acute helps with the new problems and some of the acute flare-ups of chronic problems. So you have a chronic problem, you have an acute flare-up, you can bring it down in a hurry. And always support the liver and then the small intestine. We're totally in agreement what we find and what we recommend. Number 7, 2 main triggers for chronic inflammation include simple sugar and excess gluten. Bread. Now you mentioned you like rye bread. I recommend to all of you, I know you all eat bread. If you buy it, change the brand often. Some people go shopping once a week or whatever. Some people go once a month. If you're going to buy 2 or 3 loaves, buy different brands and look at the labels. Some of them will have sugar is the number 1 or 2. I don't know if you know how to read labels, but they always list the product that has the greatest volume first.
And usually it's sugar.
It's
Right.
Often is sugar, even with ice cream. Now, I can't imagine why you would want to put sugar in ice cream if you had good cream.
When you shop for bread or anything, reading the labels, do you also look for high protein count, high fiber count, Then look at the serving and obey what it says for the serving and not triple it. Is that correct? Protein and fiber,
Sounds like a good mom.
which is complex carbs, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so we can have it, but
Oh, yeah,
quantity is
yeah.
so important.
I did not say bread is bad.
Right, we need the energy, carbs is energy, the right carbs.
You talked about food storage. Guess what I have in my food storage? A lot of
Wait,
wheat and rice,
and
Rice.
rice and beans, multiple sources, and honey.
honey, the natural honey.
I learned the other day that more bread has potato flour in it nowadays because they've discovered that you don't need to put the preservatives in if it has in potato flour that you do regular. And a lot of breads that don't say potato bread have potato flour in them.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So potato flour is poison.
I guess
Keep the bread last longer.
keeps a, yeah, I guess so. So I don't know if it's good or bad, but
I had not heard that. I
Can
do.
I ask one?
it seems like it would be better than some chemicals.
I'm sure it is.
When the subject of milk came up, and almond milk, the thing that helped me make a decision about almond milk was to read the ingredients.
And
I won't drink it.
There's not much in it, is there?
I don't think I've ever had it. What was in it?
I couldn't pronounce most of it.
Preservatives.
And that's usually if it has more than 2 or 3, it's bad for you. 2 or 3 chemicals. Okay,
Realize that.
number 8, protecting and nurturing the liver and the bones are effective ways to prevent and reduce chronic inflammation. True. Excess food quantity, regardless of quality, stresses the immune system. True. Now, a lot of folks get confused on that. They think they can have high quality and eat a lot. Is that true today?
No.
Can you eat a lot if you have high quality?
No,
Why?
because it stresses
What?
the digestive system.
Bingo. Overloads the tissues. And if you have a weak digestive system, should you eat more meals, smaller quantities, or less meals, large quantities?
Smaller,
Small often.
more often.
I just checked a lady from Phoenix actually, and she eats 4 times a day, always, sometimes 5. And she blames it on the radiation she had when she had breast cancer. It changed her whole digestive system. She said, I would never do that again. She's lucky she lived. Number 10, adequate rest and water are both free and beneficial in preventing and reversing chronic inflammation. True. So, can we assume, probably most of us have multiple locations of chronic low-grade inflammation? Yes. How can you tell if they're improving? What's one or 2 ways, maybe 3 ways, or 4 ways that you can tell if you're making progress overcoming chronic low-grade inflammation? 1,
Energy.
you have more energy. And what happens when you do the Regulus test? Regulus, it goes up because you can tolerate stress. What about general stiffness or pain? Does that change?
Yeah.
What about blood pressure, period? would you expect that if you're making progress with your blood pressure, that the chronic inflammation is going down? Yes. Could you monitor same time every day? Speed of breathing? Sure. Well, how about water retention? If you're retaining water, you'll have teeth marks in your tongue. Put your tongue out and have if it has the waves along the side, you're retaining water. If you're retaining water, you probably have some low-grade inflammation that your body's trying to dilute. Could you look under your tongue at the liver lines? Would that be an indication for you as a self-monitor? If the liver lines become less pronounced, less dominant? Yeah. So there are a lot of things you can do. What about the ability to sleep at night and dream? I saw a lady recently that said I have to take sleep aids all the time to get to sleep. And I can never nap. She's too tired to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And she has chronic low-grade inflammation. Now that's a year-long or 2-year problem to fix. To nurture the body and get in a new pattern, a new plateau, when you can have a good nap and dream, and then have a good night's sleep and dream. Both. That's a good sign. That's a sign to you that you're healing.